Dudes, it's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So, Wukong got his Exalted reworked, and man oh man is it strong. We got a very fun couple builds for you today with Wukong and the Exalted reworks. Got a frame that can take care of level 10,000 with minimal combo, and can just basically clear any mission in all of Warframe with relative ease. So let's hop right in, but before we do, make sure to sub this channel to daily Warframe video uploads. No April Fool's video this year, but I've got the Joker fashion frame for Wukong, which should be relatively close. So yeah, as far as what happened with Wukong, we've now gotten a Arcane slot on these Exalted. We've also got access to mods that weren't available before on these Exalted as well, such as Weeping Wounds and Blood Rush. So with the combinations today, we're going to show you a big damage build, which is going to be focused on basically one-shotting everything. And I've also got a melee influence build, which is technically a little bit less damage, but it's going to have more AoE and kills per second. So, yeah, and just to put in perspective, too, I did use the melee influence build for level 10,000, so even the air quotes less damage build can kill level 10,000s really fast. So, let's hop right into the sim, and we can talk about all these builds. And a reminder, too, that rivens don't work on this stuff, so this is pretty much all stuff you can replicate yourself. Okay, so here we are at the Joker, and as far as what we're doing right now, we're going to be using the Rauta shotgun to get our combo up. You don't need to do this, but the way it works now is that after DE reworked it, if you use the Rauta Build, so if we look right now, I've got the Magistar equipped, I fire the Rauta, which gives you combo from shots, and I've got 28 hits on my Magistar. I do not have any combo on my Exalted, but if you activate your Exalted, then shoot the Rauta, you will build combo for your Exalted. So I've got 28 combo for the Iron Staff now, too. So now that we've all established that, we're going to go ahead and stack it up to 12. We basically hit these enemies once, and they're all going to be dead. So really easy stuff with Wukong and the melee influence build. The other build will be called Exposure, or rather, it's using the Exposure Arcane for even bigger damage. So now that we stack it up, we can just basically kill the entire group of enemies in one hit. A over million damage electric proc. And of course, yes, that will work in missions too. It does go through walls as well. So once we proc the influence again, it's just rinse and repeat. Not too shabby. And yeah, that's the lesser damage build technically too. So going over how this stuff works, we're going to show the Rauta build too. Sorry I didn't show the Rauta build in the Coda video yesterday, but yeah. Alright, so starting off with Wukong. As far as Wukong himself, we got Wukong Prime. And as far as the Archon Shards, I've got 4 Archon Shards for ability strength. And these were all basically for the Belly of the Beast event to buff my helmet abilities. And 1 casting speed shard just to basically go into your cloud faster. Wukong's cloud form is still an extremely good ability, so I do like to have casting speed for that. It does technically influence how fast you hop in there. Now, as far as the main Wukong build, my staff does change on the other builds, but my actual frame build does not change. So I've got Naira's Hatred and Naira's Anguish buffing our slam attacks. That'll be on the other build we show. That will be basically buffing that. But the big things here, Corrosive Projection. I'm not using any armor strip at all, so this is my armor strip. Enemy's armor reduced by 18%. You could probably run Ready Steel or something like that instead. But yeah, since we have no armor strip, a little bit of armor strip from this actually works pretty well. Prime Sure-Footed, so I don't get knocked over by like an Ancient Eximus or whatever they're called, and get killed potentially. Now, thankfully, Wukong has a passive where he gets extra lives, but you would prefer not to get knocked over and die. Rolling Guard in case you get any, anything silly on you, like maybe you're just not paying attention or something like that. I like to run Rolling Guard on most builds that are focused on level 10,000, but it would be incorrect of me to say that you basically need this. You can just go invincible with your 2 whenever you want to, but it's not always available. So yeah, Rolling Guard, great to get rid of some stashes to make you immune so you can go into your cloud. Umbral Intensify is going to buff the power strength of our Wrathful Advanced Kalervo helmet, and also the strength of our Primal Fury, our staff, which gives us more damage on both of those. If we ran just Precision Intensify, it would not buff Wrathful Advance, we would get less crit chance. We currently get 204% crit chance from our buffs. Prime Flow, so we can spam our abilities whenever we need to. Equilibrium, so we have the energy to cast those abilities whenever we need to. And Duration to stay in our buffs for longer. So we can basically have this red crit buff for like 26 seconds, and I can stay in my cloud for up to 5.5 seconds-ish. So very good stuff on that front. But yeah, the slam mods are for the other build, but as far as the arcades, I'd highly recommend Arcane Strike on your build for Wukong. On hit, 6% attack speed for melees for 18 seconds. And that's going to be any hit, too. So if you were like shooting a gun, it could still proc this, technically. And Arcane Fury. On critical hit, gives a chance for 180% melee damage for 18 seconds. Nice big buff to your staff. Now for the Rauta, this thing is the thing that gives you combo when you shoot it. It can be very nice for Wukong because he kills enemies really, really fast. It's hard to build combo off of them. I've got primary dexterity, increasing our melee combo duration. I've also got that on my secondary too, or at least I should have it on my secondary. And the idea here is going to be magnetic viral, just to proc enemies up a lot. You could throw on corrosive if you want to instead. And my rivet is just a toxin. So if you don't have a toxin, just throw on a toxin on there instead. It's the exact same thing. It really is. It actually got more status chance, so it might even be better. But yeah, you can only get up to 27 hits per combo, or per shot with the Rauta. So everything is fire rate, everything is magazine size, everything is reload and multi-shot. So yeah, if you don't have a multi-shot and toxin, maybe put a toxin, or put a multi-shot mod there too. So not as good if you don't have the ribbon, but more stash chance at least. Moving on to the new core. I actually didn't even use the footage, but if you do want to use a procer, just throw the Dexterity Arcane or the Encumber Arcane, and you'll get a total of 15 extra seconds on your Exalted, which you should basically always be at 12x if you do it properly. Had the Magistar equipped, the video didn't use it too much in the footage, but as far as what's equipped on the Magistar, you got Edge of Justice, Seismic Slam, and Critical Parallel, and it's the same build for most of my Magistar videos. Gas Exposure can kill pretty much everything in the game, and they will probably nerf that in the next couple of months. Now, as far as the Iron Staff Prime, we've got some pretty good stuff here. First off, the AoE slam size on these heavy slams is 10 meters, so about half the range of the Magistar. But still, it's got good damage in those 10 meters, so you could definitely rock this for slams you want to. I'll show that slam build here in a second. We're going to first show the melee influence build. And as far as the melee influence build, this is what I got. So, galvanize this, galvanize that, weeping wounds. We're getting our crit chance from Wrathful Advance to make it basically guaranteed red crits, and the rest of this is just going to buff up our melee influence procs. On electric proc, chance to make them AoE electric procs. You saw how that worked right there on the sim. Basically just have to make sure you proc the electric. So Weeping Wounds gives us tons of stash chance compared to before. Prime Reach will give us a ton of extra range. And actually, Wukong's got some pretty unique combos too. We can talk about that in a second. But yeah, big stuff here is just making sure you have electric on your build so you can proc melee influence for AoE electric procs. So that's going to be the build that most people probably want to see. Melee influence, good stuff. Here is the build I like to run. This is a melee exposure slam build, and it can hit really, really hard. We're talking like 400 million damage or more on these slams. So we've got similar situation, but we're not carrying my stat chance at all here. We've got Seismic Wave to go along with our Naira mod for big slam damage. We've got crit damage, crit chance of crit damage, Galvanized Reflex to have built-in 5x combos, so you can spam these. Condition Overload, which probably isn't actually needed. That's probably not really... It's on the build, though, so I might as well keep it there. Then we've also got Prime Pressure Point, Blood Rush, and Prime Fever Strike. Melee Exposure on ability cast gives you increased elemental damage of Corrosive. And also, Dispatch Override is a movement speed multiplier. This will make your cloud move faster. So, go ahead and show you how some of these combos work and also how this build works. The big combos to remember with Wukong are going to be as follows. Now, there's the standard. So remember, there's auto melee in this game now too. So if you want to auto melee, hold the button down, you totally can. So, melee combos with Wukong. Let's actually get Arcane Strike proc here. The forward combo has a vortex tied to it. So this vortex can pull enemies in, as you see. So that's the forward non-blocking combo. Pretty nice potential for building up some combo, get some easy hits in on enemies. So next combo is going to be the blocking backwards combo. This is going to have a slam attack in it, and as you can see right there, it has pretty good slam attack range. So pretty nice stuff in that regard. This is going to be the standing combo. And then the mobility combo is going to be the forward combo. When you have more attack, it's a lot more noticeable, but there's a little bit of forward momentum with this. It has a relatively nice hitbox, too. This is a combo I'd recommend on the melee influence build a little bit more than on the exposure slam build. For the exposure slam build, we're just basically doing this. Do that. Move on to the next group of enemies. Do that again. You can light attack, too. As you saw in the footage, you can kill the bows with the light attacks. And we have toxins, we bypass enemy shields, too. But at the same time, you can just slam and kill everything. Why would you bother do anything else, right? So you see right there, big damage, move on to the next group, big damage. That's going to be the build I'd recommend if you really want to annoy people and be basically the Wukong that you always meant to be. So, yeah, those two builds are great. My favorite one, the Slam Exposure build, and the other one that is probably the one people will use more often because it's got more AoE, the Melee Influence build. Now, as far as the last couple of items here on the gear, it's also showing level 10,000 kill too, forgot to show that. I got the Panzer Cat, the zombie Vulpaphyla, or Panzer Vulpaphyla. And as far as the build, this is the build I use. I don't really change it that much. It's got a great option of having Reinforced Bond for fire rate for guns, and Tenacious Bond to buff your crit damage. So, as far as level 10,000s with the Wukong staff, it does take care of it relatively easily. So, you don't have to worry too much about stuff. If you have a build like this, you could do the EDA, you could do the ETA, you could do your taxes, you could do whatever you feel like, basically. One thing you really can't do is, like, an Eidolon fight, I guess. You technically maybe could do an Eidolon fight. So here we are, level 10,000s. I try to make sure that my teammates were buffing me here. And we're just going to kill some level 10,000s with Wukong's staff. So here we are, 2x multiplier, and they're dead. Yes, 2x multiplier with Wukong's staff can kill level 10,000s, as you see. And that's with the melee influence build again. So I finally built some combo, and then I think my teammate got over there and cast, like, a buff or something like that. So either way, this build can kill level 10,000s. But it's not the max damage build, so I wouldn't recommend that you do it. Or I'd recommend that you run the exposure build for max damage, and you can run melee influence if you want to, just for more AoE. So, claws right here, you don't need to have Assassin's Posture. The claws don't even matter for this build at all, really. We're not using any like nourish or anything weird like that to buff ourselves up. So let's move on to the closing thoughts on Wukong's buff. How is this, and is this like nerf worthy? I would say this is us. Like, to me, it might not look as fun playing it, but in actual mission, it's just so fun. It really is. You got crazy good range on your staff. You got, basically an insta-kill Acolyte button with the Slam build. You can probably kill the Acolyte one hit with the Influence build, too. It's just really, really nice. And also, you have a safety button of the 2 to go into Cloud form whenever you're feeling like, oh, enemies are hitting me pretty hard. Time to go into Cloud form. So, really nice changes here. You also have the illusion to proc stuff for Conditioned Overload if you want to. I didn't really bother with that, but you totally could. And yeah, with auto melee in Warframe in 2025, this is just an extremely chill, fun experience. I'm about to move on to doing some Excalibur tests pretty soon. I'm sure he'll be similar to this, probably better even. But yeah, Wukong is good to go, guys. Definitely give Wukong another shot if you haven't already. Again, I had the Magistar equipped. I wasn't using it. That should say a lot. And, like the 10-meter AoE slam attacks can definitely take care of these enemies, too, very well, even at high levels. So, yeah, I think we're just basically in a good spot with Wukong. Maybe moving on to the next frame. Her Gara's doing pretty good. Her Excalibur's doing pretty good. And maybe let me know, what frame you want me to test next in the comments down below, because I have a bunch. I'm probably going to put the Temple video, like, tomorrow, maybe. Temple is still bugged to not be doing as much damage as they're supposed to, but I might just put up the video anyway just because, Temple video is pretty late at this point. So, see you guys next one. Appreciate all the support. Take it easy. Bye.